welcome to Newsmax Now. I'm John Bachman. We begin tonight with the ongoing feud between President Trump and House Speaker Nancy Pelosi over the State of the Union. The feud started last week when Pelosi sent a letter to President Trump suggesting that he either deliver the State of the Union in writing or postpone it until after this partial government shutdown is resolved. Pelosi cited security concerns. Trump responded by canceling Pelosi's overseas trip, denying her access to a military plane less than an hour before she was scheduled to leave the country. But it all came to a head this afternoon when the president sent Pelosi this letter in which he wrote, quote, "Even prior to your asking, I was contacted by the Department of Homeland Security and the United States Secret Service to explain that there would be absolutely no problem regarding security with respect to the event." Adding, quote, "I look forward to seeing you on the evening of January 29th in the chamber of the House of Representatives. It would be very sad for our country if the State of the Union were not delivered on time, on schedule, and very importantly, on location." Well, within minutes, Pelosi responded with her own letter, saying that when she extended the initial invitation earlier this month, she had no idea that the government would be shut down. Pelosi continues writing here, "I am writing you to inform you that the House of Representatives will not consider a concurrent resolution authorizing the president's State of the Union address in the House chamber until the government is reopened." And then the pair got out from behind their letters and spoke to TV cameras.
But it's really unfortunate that not only is the president holding the American people and America's workers hostage, he's holding the Republicans in the Congress of the United States hostage.
I'm not surprised. It's really a shame what's happening with the Democrats. They've become radicalized. They don't want to see crime stop, which we can very easily do on the southern border. And it really is a shame what's happening with the Democrats.
All right, joining us now to break all this down is RNC spokesperson Kayleigh McEnany. Kayleigh, great to have you back on the program this evening.
Good to join you, John.
All right, so President Trump had a little bit more to say late this afternoon. He said Nancy Pelosi doesn't want to hear the truth, and she doesn't want the American people to hear the truth. Here's the president not long ago.
We were planning on doing a really very important speech in front of the House and the Senate, the Supreme Court, and everybody else that's there. It's called the State of the Union. It's in the Constitution. We're supposed to be doing it, and now Nancy Pelosi, or Nancy as I call her, she doesn't want to hear the truth, and she doesn't want to hear, more importantly, the American people hear the truth. So we just found out that she's canceled it, and I think that's a great blotch on the incredible country that we all love.
Now, Kayleigh, some experts say the president cannot speak in front of a joint session of Congress without both chambers' explicit permission. There is a clause that gives him the opportunity to do that in cases of national emergency. But let's assume Pelosi does not give the House's permission. What's the president's next move?
Well, the president has said that there will be an announcement down the line as to the venue and the place and the time at which he'll give an address. I think at some point he will. But how sad is this? And the president is spot on that Nancy Pelosi is hiding the truth from the American people. There's no doubt that's what this is about. You remember the Oval Office address, very effective, compassionate speech by the president about the humanitarian crisis on our border. The Democratic response with Chuck and Nancy looking like Siamese twins, not so much. The last thing she wants is this president to stand before the American people, give an address, much like the Oval Office one, but on a much bigger stage, and then a Democrat to give the rebuttal. And of course, the rebuttal would probably be a lot like the Chuck and Nancy rebuttal, which was not very effective, as most commentators noted.
Sure, a big difference, of course, between the State of the Union and the Oval Office address is the live, I won't call it a studio audience, but you know what I mean. You have applause, you have boos, you have cheers and jeers. You have the president getting an opportunity to specifically highlight certain folks that's important to his agenda. This is sad. For those of us who love the State of the Union, no matter who gives it the pomp and circumstance of it, it is sad, I think, for the American public. Kayleigh, I also want to take a look at some polls that show Americans don't think the border wall is necessarily worth this shutdown fight, if you believe the polls. According to CBS News, only about 28% said the border wall is worth the government shutdown. 71% said it's not worth it. Now, even if this poll is 10 points off, the president is still underwater with the American public on this issue. Kayleigh, how do you handle that?
Well, polls are all over the map. And to give you a counter poll is the Harvard-Harris poll, which repeatedly polls every few months to the American people, do you want a southern barrier? And every time it's more than 50% that say, yes, we want a southern barrier. Another poll that just came out in The Hill said that 56% of the nation thought the president's Saturday offer for DACA temporary relief was a good faith compromise and one that should open negotiations. So polling is really all over the map here. I don't put much stock in it, but I do think the president is right on this. He's standing on principle.
Yeah, it really depends on how the questions are asked, of course,
That's
too,
right.
Kayleigh. You know that very well. Let's talk about the latest developments with Micheal Cohen while we have you here. President Trump's former attorney is postponing his scheduled testimony. It was supposed to be February 7th. He says there have been threats against his family from President Trump and from Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani. Cohen also cited the ongoing cooperation with the special counsel's investigation. Are you all at all concerned, Kayleigh, that Cohen's televised testimony, whenever it happens, could be damaging to the president?
Not at all. I'm not concerned in the slightest. And here's why. Micheal Cohen is a known liar. He's someone who is convicted on 9 counts for personal crimes, financial wrongdoing, someone that should not be trusted. And I think that what we saw today, was Micheal Cohen's effort to get out of something. I think he made up a fake truth, or a lie rather, saying that he's been threatened, and when in fact he hasn't, and he wants to get out of this because he's lied to Congress before. This is not going to end well for Micheal Cohen. If he talks to Congress again, he'll probably catch himself in another lie, maybe some more jail time there.
In other words, you believe there's no credibility to these claims that Cohen's making, that his family has been threatened, that he feels threatened.
I don't believe it in the slightest.
All right, I like that term, though, a fake truth. That's a
fake
new one,
truth, right?
A fake truth.
A lie.
Well, earlier today, House, same thing, but there's, of course, in Washington, D.C., there's many ways to characterize a mistruth, a half-truth, a fake truth. All right, earlier today, House Oversight Committee Chair Elijah Cummings and Intel Committee Chair Adam Schiff issued a statement on Cohen's postponement. They write, when our committees began discussions with Mr. Cohen's attorney, not appearing before the Congress was never an option. We will not let the president's tactics prevent Congress from fulfilling our constitutionally mandated oversight responsibilities. This will not stop us from getting to the truth. We expect Mr. Cohen to appear before both committees, and we remain engaged with his counsel about his upcoming appearances. Kayleigh, who do you think has the bigger axe to grind here, Cohen or these congressional Democrats?
I think these congressional Democrats, this was supposed to be their first big investigation. It was going to be the opening salvo of all of their investigations. They already have something like 86 Trump targets, according to Axios, that they're going after. Well, here was number one, interviewing Micheal Cohen before Congress, but this isn't happening. So Elijah Cummings is quite furious, as you noted there, that statement. He obviously is quite perturbed. So yes, this is a big, bad thing for Democrats. This is the opening salvo, and it busted right in front of them.
Yeah, we know some of these appointments, we're going to talk about them on the House Oversight Committee. It makes for good television, probably, but not for good government. So we'll see what comes of it. Kayleigh McEnany, great to see you, and thanks for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching. If you'd like to see more live breaking news coverage, exclusive interviews, and videos from Newsmax TV, click subscribe on our YouTube channel, and don't forget to download the free Newsmax TV app for alerts. Newsmax TV, it's real news for real people.